let them know that there's disappointment in life. If you grow up in a need deprived environment, you grow up with a distorted image of yourself. They have to show you a certain good girl side, because if they show you their real themselves, you are going to crash out as a parent and they're afraid that you're going to kill them. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Bessie Mignori. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, still welcome. This is a channel where we talk about everything money, saving, budgeting, and having a life of financial freedom. So if those are things that you like hearing about, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, hit the notification button so you don't miss another episode. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about a whole different other thing, because of course I don't only think about money, I think about other things too, and I want to be sharing my thoughts with you. I don't want this to just be a channel where we can only talk about one thing. That's gonna be boring. I don't want to start another channel because it's hard to work on channels. So I'll just be sharing them here. And if you enjoy them, fine. Maybe I'll start a podcast on the same. But yeah, I'll just make a playlist and call it maybe Deep Thoughts, or I don't know. So, guys, I wanted us to unpack the human life cycle from like childhood to death, from like the beginning to the end. This is just to allow us to see the different stages of life and how we're supposed to be in different stages of life. And also, I want you to think about, when you end this channel, when you end this video, I want you to go and think about, like, is your fate, is your destiny already determined? Because I want you to look at your life as a movie. Each movie has like characters. There's main characters, there's supporting characters. And the good thing is, in your life, you are the main character. You're the main character of your own life. So even the same way as a movie, you have to keep watching to know how it unfolds. So do you think that your life, that your movie has already been written? Or do you think that you can make decisions that are going to alter how the plot of the movie is going to unfold? So yeah, I want you to go think about that. And the reason why I'm just talking about this is because honestly, I'm a deep thinker and some things disturb me. And I if when I go in rabbit holes, I want to share my thoughts with you. So, and also growing older brings things more into perspective, and because of the absolute feeling of finality, most of us are quarter way, halfway, three-quarter way through our lives. So it's just good to think about other things, think about other deep things. So infants to childhood is when you're 0 to 15 months old, and this is the stage where you are dependent on your caregivers for everything, for love, for security, for protection, for food, for your diapers to be changed if you're wet. You are dependent on your caregivers for everything. We are pawns to the environment at that time, because we can't really control anything. You're helpless and you need your caregivers to come through for you. So, because of that, this stage is very crucial for the development of trust. And this is because if you're cared for, if you're in a secure environment, you will learn how to develop trust. You will trust yourself, you'll trust the people around you, you will trust your playmates, and are more willing to explore your environment, because you have more self-belief, you have more self-confidence. And you also know that even if you go away and explore the environment and maybe the environment is harsh, you can come back home and your caregivers will still be there for you. On the other hand, if you're grown in a bad environment, you know that even if you cry, even if you're hungry, no one really cares. So you learn how to suppress your needs. You become wary of your environment. You're not able to trust the people around you. And it can lead to even very serious personality disorders, even as a grown up. And that is why most people say that whatever you are as an adult has been determined a lot by how you were as a child. So with secure parents, even if you cry, you're in pain, they will handle it. With these other parents that are not very caring of you, you are really not catered for. And so you become easy to bully, you become very gullible to people's opinions. And like I said, it can lead to serious personality disorders. So the other stage is early childhood. And this is where a child awakens to all their senses. Everything around them is a toy. They're eating everything, they're listening to everything, they're touching everything, they're falling everything down. I know parents are like, oh my God, this stage of toddlerhood is like the ghetto. So if this child has been raised in a secure environment, like we say, they will be more willing to go out and play with their playmates. They will be more willing to explore the environment, and they will not be very wary or very guarded. But on the other hand, if you grow up in a need deprived environment, you grow up with a distorted image of yourself. Lack of reassurance and care leaves us vulnerable to the distorted opinions of others. If people decide to call you ugly that day, you're like, oh my God, I'm ugly. But if you have been reassured at home that, girl, you're beautiful no matter what, anyone says. You'll go out to the world and whatever anyone says, you're like, it doesn't matter because my parent has reassured me. So if early on you learn that you're not shown love, you learn that you're unlovable. If you're not shown value, if you're not valued, you learn that you're not valuable. And this is interesting because even as I watch interviews of successful women and the interviewer asks them, tell me about your childhood, and you listen to some women who have grown with great dads, great parents who reassured them, who are there for them, they are very confident. They are very open to going into the world. They look at the world as their oyster. They're not worried if this man says that she's not worthy, she will still move on and find like a person who values her. And they don't have crazy boy stories like domestic violence and narcissistic boyfriends and validation seeking. But on the other hand, when I listen to the stories of women who have grown up with like absent dads, I can see like even in her dating patterns, she was like validation seeking, or maybe she stayed longer in a toxic environment. So you see, as a parent, you really need to reassure your child. You need to know the right things to say, and you also need to not let them cry so that they can learn how to be heard. Like, who even taught us that? So guys, I know most of us are like entering that stage of parenthood, so we need to learn these things so that we don't repeat the mistakes. So the other thing is, as a parent, your guidelines need to be consistent and firm, but you also need to be careful not to suppress the neophilic or the exploration instincts of children, because you know, as a child you're very inquisitive, you're very curious, you want to see everything. But now if you keep restricting your child, you just they will be like, "Ugh, I don't even want to explore no more," because like, let them explore. I watched a video of a kid was being fed, and every time the parent was just wiping the extra food. I'm like, let the child be. So you need to have consistent and firm boundaries, but they should not be too extreme. And also, you need to allow kids to learn how to live with frustrations. Let them know that they're not going to get everything they want. And this is especially bad with parents who spoil their kids silly, because these kids are the ones that grow up. If they are denied something in life, they become very angry. They can even kill themselves or they can kill someone. Let them know that there's disappointment in life. So if you're too permissive, your kid thinks, my parents don't care. I can do whatever. I can go out there and ruin my life. If you're too caring, your kid will never establish self reliance, because they depend on you for every decision, because you have coddled them, you have cared for them too much. So guys, you need to strike a balance. If you're too strict with behavioral ultimatums, kids learn how to wear different masks so that they can match with the required specifications. They will not be authentic, they will never be real with you, and they will always be compartmentalized because they have to show you a certain good girl side. Because if they show you their real themselves, you are going to crash out as a parent, and they're afraid that you're going to kill them. And if you're too strict and your behavioral ultimatums are like crazy, your child will be afraid of you. They will not come to you when they have issues. They will be very compartmentalized. They have the friends that their friends know and the daughter that you know are two different people, because they cannot show you the real themselves, the real selves, because you will crash out as a parent and you'll be like, oh my god, that's not my daughter. And the worst part about this stage is that kids don't have a choice. They don't have a choice, even if they're in a toxic environment. They don't have a choice but to stick there, because that's where they eat, that's where they go to school, that's the person that is taking care of them at that point. And that's the craziest part, because as parents, you're supposed to like protect your kids. You're supposed to be the protection of your kids. But now, if you're the one subjecting them to all this bad stuff, it can really even mess up with the child's image. So on the next video, we are going to be looking at mid childhood and adolescence, and it's very interesting actually to just see how one grows, one morphs from one stage to the other, and how one becomes an adult, and also how one starts like growing older. And it's just interesting to watch. So guys, if you'd like more content like this, obviously like, comment, share, hit the notification button, subscribe, and share with your friends. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.